gotta strive with drive and run up that money, I can't waste no time. Not at all. I do this for Jay, do no line. They steady be dissing, I ain't gon' respond. No, I'm really all in my prime. I'm focused, determined.
Can I say something real quick? All right, good looking. Once again, back at it with another episode of Confessions of a Convict. Again, it's a public service announcement to those about the prison life to show that, hey man, we humans too. But
all right, peace and blessings. My name's Kareem.
All right, where you from, man?
From Brooklyn originally, staying out in Pennsylvania, in the Poconos.
So, tell us a little bit about what it was like coming up in Brooklyn at your age, man. How old are you, if you don't mind sharing?
44.
All right.
So the 80s, woo, the 90s. But the 80s, we all know in every neighborhood, urban neighborhood of the Moors, where they classify us as a color, black, whatever, but we know crack hit the urban hoods, the community, and like bad, man. You know what I mean? Like that's when, like, you listen to the elders, they tell you that the neighborhood just went to like a cesspool. But the 90s is where, as formerly being like a young teenager, is when you start learning everything. I moved to East New York from Bed-Stuy, place called Savage City, Spring Creek, New York. It's just they zoned it out now. But when I was living in Stein, it was Roosevelt Project, Pulaski between Lewis and Stuyvesant. So the 90s in Brooklyn was, you had the Decepticons. This before the Bloods and Crips. You had Zulu Nation, which I was a part of back in 95 or stuff. I was fucking with a few Brooklyn chapter Zulu brothers and stuff though,
Yeah, I heard about them Decepticons. In fact, my mom was part of this religious organization called the Asara Sect community. And they were actually based out in Brooklyn. Also, she was affiliated with the Ansar Rule Law. So we know Dr. York. And back then he was
Dr.
called
York, yeah.
Al Mahdi. And I believe they were there in Bushwick. Well, I know they was in Bushwick. I don't believe.
Bushwick, yeah, Bushwick Avenue. They had a big temple. Yeah, that's where mostly a lot of, after the Black Panthers, disbarred, mostly the elders now that's in they, like I say, the late 60s, 70s, most of them came from the Ansar community, Dr. York's community. So my father was a part of that too.
Oh wow. So yeah, the connection is there. The more you even rocking the colors. It's your skin complexion, the red and the green. I like that.
Sir.
You the walking Marcus Garvey flag right now. So can you tell me a little bit about your childhood? What it was like coming up? Was you 2-parent home, single parent? Your parents
two parent household, Pops was Pop's family, where his moms, they come from the island. They come from Barbados. So I had a 2-parent household. My mom's, she's from the South. She migrated up to New York after her high school years in college, and she migrated up to New York to find a better living and better jobs and stuff. Because the South was way behind technology of the North and stuff. Far as employment. So like I said, I had a decent childhood. Like no silver spoon. Shit. My parents struggled. And like I said, once the late 80s, 90s came, hip hop, everything, and like I said, it was a real learning experience though, brother.
What school you went to?
I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck. My pops, like I said, he was part of the Ansar community, but he didn't. It was something as I got older, I learned about Islam, but we're gonna get into that. So I actually went to 7-Day Adventures. It was on Hanson Place, downtown Brooklyn. A few people might, if they from New York, they might know what I'm talking about. They know where it's at. It's right there between the G line and the A line, the 38 bus, 2552. Right before the Barclays Center. If I want to be a BAM, Brooklyn Academy Music Place. So like I went to 7-Day Adventure, so till about 88. And then I transferred into public school in my father's and my cousin projects, So I went to Farragut public school 307. And that's when I got the formal, like I said, from private school going into public school was a real awakening experience.
Let me ask you this. If you had a kind of background of being exposed to the Ansar Rule Law community and such like that, was it natural for you in school? Did you feel like you were like the other kids, different, or how was that? What was that like?
Well, the way because my father was a military guy. So it wasn't. How can I explain it? Make people maybe they could relate. It was. I had discipline, if that's the word. I had discipline, bro, but it wasn't like he wasn't really on no strict military shit. Like he was just one of them fathers that didn't play his shit. My father, I didn't get the height, so I tell everybody when I laugh, I make fun of it. I said my dad was 6'5", so you know you got a tall motherfucker like that, crazy ass Leo, Vietnam vet. You know, like I said, and plus the way he grew up at. Like I said, he grew up during the times before they segregated the schools and shit. So he experienced the real racisms of Italian Americans, you know, just the European Americans, period. Like growing up in Brooklyn himself. So like I said, so as he passed down certain um historical facts or teachings and stuff, he would teach me slowly. Like stuff like I said, I was a kid, so you know when you're a kid, you ain't really like, you know, you just want to have fun. But it was times when he sat down, like read this book real quick, and like, you know, he would like install like his like the wisdom and knowledge into me, man.
More. So how did you end up, you know, in SCI, whatever? What happened?
Well, all right. Like I said before, if everybody knows the history of New York blood sets, it really was on Rikers Island. It was under the UBN, United Blood Nation. The Moors, you know, black folks, I want to use the word black, but they was being oppressed by our Latino brothers and stuff, and the COs. So instead of everybody fighting with each other, they all unified to each other to fight back against the all the Latin inmates and stuff. You know, like I said, it's jailhouse shit. You know, I could have like one of my best friends is Dominican, so on the street we could be knocked in, but when we hit like jail, like you know, it's upon race. Everybody knows that. If you've been up top before, or upstate anywhere, that you know it's divided between race now. You can even have a cool ass white boy you grew up with. When you step into the house or somebody's house in the jail, it has to go with race, and it's nothing personal. It's a survival mode, you know. But like I said, being caught up in the street shit, you know, my father kept giving me warnings. Like you know, watch my friends, everything else. So when I moved to when we moved to Pennsylvania, fucking around with one of them house parties one night, man, and it really wasn't the situation that happened with my case. It really wasn't, and this is what I want some of the youth to understand. It wasn't my beef. It wasn't my problem. I put my nose into it, thinking that I'm holding somebody down. Yo, that's my man. That's my boy. You know, shit went crazy. You know, aggravated assault, gun charge, all of that. Anyway, the dudes who I was holding down ended up telling on me, keeping it all the way a buck with you. So, you know, you now when you get older and you going through that experience, you're saying like, yo, but you were just kicking all of that like street shit that you this, then other, but you folding, you telling the police everything, you know, you working with the district attorney. So like I said, I ended up, you know, blowing trial and I got sentenced with for my first offense, I'm keeping a buck with you. My first offense. Even when I was upstate, I got sentenced to 5.5 to 15 years. Sorry for jumping up in the around everything, but I remember there was a counselor when I was in SCI Rockview. That's in Bellefonte, State College, Pennsylvania, right? It's right outside Penn State. So it was a program called TCU. And one of the directors or managers who was there, he said, yo, if you was in one of the inner cities, like Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Lancaster, somewhere, he said, you wouldn't got hit with this time, but you in the mountains, you in the suburbs. So like, yeah, and this is your first offense, you got hit with this type of time. So, you know, like I said, even the time was oppressive itself. You understand? Like, but like I said, that was me, that was coming of age, me being a man. I was a teenager when I caught my case. I turned 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, being at SCI Rockview until I got pre-release back. Matter of fact, this upcoming October makes 20 years since I've been free. Never went back, bro. Never went back.
So let me ask you this, right? Keeping it a buck, we got to keep it a buck. You said you won in 14. What was it like your first day upstate? Where were you at?
Honestly, keeping all the way a buck. First day upstate, I said, all right, cool. We don't know. It's like, you know, when you go through your classification, let me explain to you. When they took me out of county, so they took me to Greaterford first. Then, you know, everybody knows after Greaterford, you stay there for a couple of weeks or whatever. Then you transfer to Camp Hill. Camp Hill, that's when you go to your main jail. But my first night up in Graterford, I'm like, all right, cool. This look like some, like I've been to Central Booking. I ain't never go to the island. I've been to Central Booking and shit, but only thing I could do is have pens and pencils ready. But I was in a cell with somebody that was a teenager too, so it was my age, so it wasn't no like bumping heads. But I thought they was gonna put me in with a grown ass man. And you hear all the, and I'm make everybody laugh when I say this. You hear the jail stories, so you never really been into a prison, so you don't know what the fuck going on. You thinking like what Nori had a line. Nori had a line said, "Only time you been to jail is when you watching Oz." So we see the freaky shit that was going on. And I was like, yo, hold up. It ain't running up in me. I ain't know like get down like that. So, but nah, bro, on some real shit, nah. First night up in Graterford when I lights out, 9 o'clock, slept with the pistol. I ain't care. I know it was a dude my age, but when I first got into a cell with a grown man, like once I got to like STI Rockview, I already knew I made a shank and everything. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. First day, like I said, I already know melt. I don't wanna put this out there on YouTube because guards might but everybody knows how to make a shank real quick, man. And I made sure I had my shit on ready, but just like I said, I was a humble dude. Like anybody who ever been around my presence, I'm not like I'll talk loud. This is just my voice is projectile, but I'm an observer. Like I don't want to be on the front line. So basically, I'm more observant and shit. But I'm humble and I read the room and shit. So I'm already. So I'm walking into the house. I'm already reading everybody's energy, in the room, and seeing who's who and what's what and whatnot. And I listen to see how to survive basically because I want to know the rules of the house. You understand? And then, like I said, you have some legit OGs who really, young, and this is how you move around while you upstate. And I watch out for the guards and everything. You know what's going on. So, like I said, your first experience, you supposed to ask questions. I didn't know. It's not like a manual. So you talk to a few people just to get some like wisdom on how to move.
You give me a story, like a wild story that sticks out your head from being incarcerated that you'll never forget.
A wild story. Wow. All right, man. I have a few, but I know everybody who mostly I don't want to see everybody, but one is like when you away from your family and a family member gets sick and pass away. That's one. That's something that you will hold a guilt trip to yourself. You understand? But one story, like if you want to like jail experience was, um, when I was upstate, like I'm around a lot of Philly dudes. So my first time interacting with Philly, like I said, and I'm like, man, niggas are just like us. They're just from a different city. So you start, I'm gonna call it a spade. And if I'm naming boroughs, so now I always say, uptown, nice town, whatever. That's the Harlem niggas. That's the pretty boys and shit. I'm gonna be 100 with you. So I said there was some areas in North Philly. I could be like, all right, that niggas is from the style or some shit. Like we start naming. You could see how they was moving. But we always say South Philly. I'm gonna keep. I don't no disrespect anybody for South Philly, but we always say South Philly was them Brownsville niggas. That was the grimy like me looking at upstate like how. I well, let me tell what type of what part of Philly he from. You can just tell how the way the movement was. The shit that stood out to me was when I was talking about Philly was one of the borough wars we call it. So I was in the yard one day. I was under the pavilion working out, and I seen a whole bunch of South Philly dudes going downstairs and checking, like, where you get the equipment, like the baseball bats and shit. And I'm like, yo, why is a lot of Philly niggas in the yard today? So I seen niggas coming up with baseball bats, chains, and all like, cause you can wear the chain from when you're working out, doing like the neck exercise when you're doing the dips and shit. So next thing you know, I'm seeing some shit, and they the way they moving, you already some shit was getting ready to go down. Next thing you know, you hear the fucking whistles in the yard going off. They popped it off on the North Philly dudes. The next thing you know, we just say like, we looking from afar. Next thing you know, you see the tear gas coming out into from the towers. Boof, boof, boof. So as they hit the ground, you see everybody running and trying to cover their face up. I head right for the gate because I already know once they're gonna let everybody out, then they're gonna lock the gate down until everybody's laying on flat on their stomach. So then they sent the what we call the Ninja Turtle dudes. The regular SEALs was running into the yard, but they had to wait for backup because once they heard they had weapons, they said shoot. First thing they did, like I said, was shoot the tear gas into the yard, and then they gave the warning shot. Like everybody knows the warning shot. So after the tear gas, like if niggas ain't calm down, excuse me for using the word. If brothers didn't calm down from like I said, the physical activity they was getting into, after the tear gas, then the deadly shot. After the warning shot, then it's the what they call after the beanbag, they do the dead like the live shot now. So now like if we see a weapon in your hand, you move any further, we putting you down. So the one thing my concern was, yo, the fuck out the yard. It's about like I said, once I seen it popped off like that, I said I ain't trying to get caught up in nobody's no in the house beef or whatever. Cause they had to lock the jail down for 2 days until shit calmed down for real, for real.
I don't know if it's one prison I've ever been into where there wasn't a North Philly versus South Philly. And I've been in.
If yo facts and you and like my and I told like and I was explaining a certain like because it's only back in the night like when I remember I went upstate in '98, bro. So I was like, you explained it to you how your city is to this. I say this shit happens on Rikers Island, but this shit happens on cell blocks more than in the yard. Because most time in the yard they have everybody separated. But like I said, so now me experience, I said, wow, I said you would think like because the name is City of Brotherly Love. And that's when I learned quick. The brothers told me, ain't no fucking brotherly love. Fuck them niggas. Like that's how I was like, that's how real it was. You know what I mean? Even in like I said, even in North Philly's brothers fighting against each other. I said, yo, that's typical shit. Like remember, like I told you, 18, so I'm learning. I'm learning more like, all right, cool. Laying back, just asking questions and stuff. And like I said, I'm very observant and shit. But like I said, a few cats ain't fucking me because I wasn't from Philly, but few cats did, and there's a couple of old heads who took me under, was like teaching me, like I said, especially now. Now you know what they say. I was fucking with the 5%ers when I was out back in the city when I was a young teenager being in Brooklyn. So then I did start fucking with Sunni Muslims and stuff. You start asking questions and stuff. Like I got the knowledge and stuff, but if anybody who understands what the 5% nation, I never got my full 120. So, but like I said, I have a little knowledge of cell phone survival and knowing who I am and stuff like, and it opened my eyes more because I know I needed a one in something greater. So, and until like I said, because we all still learning, we all students in the game. Like nobody's never like a teacher or better than anybody. But I started asking questions, and like I said, like, just I always was question for knowledge and shit, though. You know what I mean? Like I said, because you learn something every day, man. But that was basically firsthand of what I experienced and shit, though. You feel me?
Now, moving along, let me ask you. So, when you finally made parole and you came home, what was your adjustment like? Was that a challenge, being as though you had one frame of mind at one time in your life, and now you got to come back home and figure it out as a man of a whole different age and mindset? What was that like for you?
So now, speaking of that, like you said, and then making an adjustment now, I went in as a teenager. I told you, became a man being upstate. So now, like I said, I don't want to get too personal. Like, I mean, I could get personal. It's nothing, but my dad ended up getting sick. He ended up getting prostate cancer. So my mom's like, she had allocated all her sick days, and she was like, "Yo, that's my husband till death do us apart." So I learned how to hustle in jail. If everybody understands what I mean, like I got clearance on outside details, and that's as far we could go. If you understand, I ain't trying to put everything on blast, but I learned how to hustle. So that was another thing I learned how to survive with too. So everybody knows this is what I was confused when I tell brothers. I say, yo, won't you apply for this job right here? Oh, I ain't working for no $5 and change in XYZ. But when you go upstate, if you don't want to work, you getting 18 or 19 cents a day. But when you work upstate, you getting paid 20 cents an hour. So you could get paid 20 cents an hour, and at the end of the month, that's like $20 at the time, or $30, whatever, after they tally it up. When I got the outside details, I went up to 52 cents an hour. So I had enough, like I had a couple of dollars saved up. I sent my mom's home some money. You know what I mean? Like so that's me becoming a man because what else can I do? Just like, mom, whatever this can help with. I don't. It wasn't much. It was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. It was like $50 or some shit, but it was something. You understand? My mom said, yo, it did. Like I was able to get gas. I was able to get a few things. She said she appreciated it because she said she borrowed money from her pension and help with bills and shit. But I was like, damn, I gotta go home and help my mom's father. My father's sick. He can't work right now. So moving on, like I ended up getting pre-release. So, like I said, it's another. We could always come back to this, but my father ended up passing right before I got mom for they approved my bed date, but I ended up getting approved for pre-release. So now I ain't been home in 5.5 years. So now first day coming out now. Remember, everything changed. Money changed. Remember, when I first went in, hundreds was already big faces. All right. So when I came home, now the 20s was. So I was just like I said to myself, I said, all right, cool. Let me just see how the world is now. So I ended up going to Scranton, Pennsylvania halfway house. So I remember just checking into the halfway house on Adams, and they like the director was explaining, yo, you got an 8 o'clock curfew. You get a on the weekends, once you've been here for a month, you get a 10-hour pass. Now when you during the rest of the days, you get like a 2-hour pass each time, but you got to come back, check in, and go back out. So first day after, like I said, after my family, they took me to the halfway house and dropped me off. So it was just a big adjustment back into the world, because when I came home, I went back to my old job I had at one of the supermarkets. They took me right back. They said, "Yeah, come back in." So I didn't mind working for 5.50. That's when I first came out. I think minimum wage was 5.15, and I was telling my mom, I said, "Mom, I worked for 20 cents an hour to 52 cents an hour, and if you didn't work, you only got 19 cents a day." So I said, "So $5 an hour?" I said, "I don't give a fuck. I'll push a broom, whatever I gotta do." When I came home, I was 25 when I came home, because I got paroled out on, like I said, like actually on my birthday. So I said, damn, I caught the case at 18, turned 19 when I went upstate. And I'm saying to myself, I said, damn, almost 6 years passed by. And it's like, yo, now it's like, all right, what I'm gonna do with my future? Where do I see myself going now? Do I still want to be struggling, or like I said, we still struggling, but I want to make sure that in like 2 years, I said I ain't even give myself 5. 2 years, I want to be in a better position than I am now. So like I said, every when I first came home, like I got my forklift operator license, so I was working in warehouses. And after I got bored with that, I went to school, vocational school, for learning how to drive trucks, CDL. So I got my CDL in 2007, and I'm still driving commercial vehicles. So that's my story.
Are you happy where you at now in life?
I'm all right. I don't want to say I'm not happy, only because I deserve more. So me doing more reading now as I'm older, but like I said, I'm trying to find new avenues to explore. So that way I want my daughter to be good, because like once you have kids, I like very few dudes be so selfish, they worry about themselves. So I got a daughter. So basically I want better. You understand? Like I said, struggle with the fight with the sisters, fight with your child's mother and everything else. All the stress that comes is being a more and surviving in this world, because we got everything stacked against us. So it's like I said, I feel like I could be in more better position, but I'm all right for right now. Basically, I'm all right for right now though.
Any regrets?
Not listening to my dad, I'm gonna be 100 with you. Be like I said, I don't regret going upstate, going to prison, what it is. So like, but like I said, now when I see that, when I see some of the youths, right? If they gotta go bust a movie or make a movie, if you understand, I'm speaking in code, so they gotta go do what the OG tell them to do, and it's like I'm looking at them. I've been in that position before, when I've been the one always on the front line with everything. To what got me caught, me being on the front line. Look, and I'm like putting in quotations of putting in work, and therefore for niggas to tell on me. So it's like damn, that really makes you really like, I don't trust nobody, and I gotta be real cautious on who I give my energy to, or how do I display my energy without backlashes. So now that I'm older, it's like I'm more wise, I should say. So I'm very cautious on how I balance out my energy and distribute my energy with who.
And in closing, what would you like the people to know about you today?
Well, today, like I said, father of one, still striving, humble person. Like I said, me and bro, we met in an actual group chat, like where we just bid on everybody. And once we started politicking more, me and the bro built our own relationship. And like I said, I gotta come here, see him one day. I'm gonna hit him up and be like, yo, I'm touching down in your city real quick, because it's been 2 years since I've been to Philadelphia, bro. And the thing I miss about your city, boy, is the pizza pretzels, the water ice, and the real Philly cheesesteaks. Like I said, when I went down there, don't laugh. My first time in Philly, I'm gonna make y'all laugh real quick. My first time in Philly, I did the tourist shit until my people screamed on me. I went to Pat's and Geno's, and I was like, "Yeah, we see this shit all the time." And they said, "You went where?" They said, "Why didn't you hit my line, bro? You don't go. Nobody go fucking there except for the tourists." I went to Max, like my boy put me on the Max, but I went to Sides also in West Philly.
Okay.
I told you I wanted to go all over. I went to Sides, all of that.
I appreciated this interview. Another awesome episodes of Confessions with a Convict, featuring my man Kareem from NY, courtesy of the Poconos right now. So that's all we got for y'all, man. Peace.
Peace and blessings, everybody.